All right. Hey, guys, it's Kevin again, and here we are once again, this time for the official premiere of our new podcast that we will be doing. We did do a cast assessment for Big Brother Canada, but this is the official start of our podcast, aptly titled A Conversation with Kely. If you did not get to see that video, I'm not here on my own. I am here with my lovely co-host, and I will let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Alyssa, or Allie, and I'm just excited to I'm so bad at intros.
You're fine.
I'm just
you
excited.
Make up for it with your cuteness.
I'm just excited to talk about the first couple episodes and give my thoughts.
Yes. So what we're going to be doing here is basically just talking about the first two episodes, what went on this week. And for this week, it's just going to be the two of us. We figured that, just starting out, we might as well just do it that way. But starting next week, we are going to have at least one guest per week. So definitely look forward to that. Anyway, let's get into this week overall. What did you, before we start off, with like events and everything, what did you think of this first week?
Well, I definitely thought like the first couple episodes were really good, and I thought the twist was really unique.
Yeah.
It was definitely interesting seeing like the nominees vote. And
yeah.
And like it was definitely like last night's episode was messy because I thought Josh was going to be leaving, but then
we'll get into all that.
Julie kept her mouth shut.
Yeah, we'll definitely discuss that for sure. But for me, as you guys know, coming into, if you didn't watch the cast assessment, this is the first season of Big Brother Canada that I'm actually watching. And, coming into it, I had a lot of expectations because people have been talking about how, it's so much better than BBUS and things like that. And watching it can very much confirm that is the case. There's a lot that I really like about the show. I mean, the one thing is we actually have a host that isn't like boring and robotic. She is very expressive and energetic. And just from the few seconds alone, like I really love Arisa's energy. And I think it just always does a great job hosting. I can see why people stan her as much as they do. So, and I feel like what's great about Arisa, and I think you can agree, like it feels like she's one of us. Like she feels like she's a fan. She's not coming off as I'm just the host. She's coming off as legitimately a fan, someone that loves what she's doing. And I'm just such a fan of her in that way. I think she is such a brilliant host, and production-wise as well. I mean, it definitely beats the US version. I mean, they really go all out when it comes to production. What do you think of the theme of this season with like the post-apocalyptic theme and everything?
Everything about this season is perfect.
Yeah, I really
think the theme and the twist is amazing, and I think the season will be really good. Like, I know the first eviction sucked, but I do think the season is still going to be really good. I don't think people should cancel it after one or two episodes.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
I think Arisa has way more personality than Julie.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think I really like the post-apocalyptic look of everything. I like the idea that everything's like overgrowth and things like that. I think that's a really fun idea. And yes, I have heard people say, they're just doing this because they weren't able to use the house last season. But you know what? I don't care. I think it's a really cool theme. And I don't know if I love them calling it the sequel because it's not the same cast. And that's a little weird. But like aside from that. What were you going to say?
I just said I get that, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I love that, but like everything else, I really do like in terms of production. I think for the most part, at least for me, it works. So I'm pretty much a fan of what they're doing there. But just getting into this week overall, I mean, the first episode, there's really not a lot to talk about. It was a lot of just the introductions, which we have seen already. But the big twist that comes in is that everyone is playing this season at least for the first few weeks in teams. We have Team Destiny and Team Defender. A lot of people were speculating that was going to be like the other team was going to be like returnees or something like that. But what do you think of the team format? Do you like it? Do you think it works for this show? Like how do you feel about it so far?
It's unique. It's definitely different.
Yeah.
If it's only going to be for the first week,
yeah,
like it's.
I think she said the first few weeks as well.
Oh wait, yeah. I think it's pretty cool, but it's different. Like I don't know how well it's gonna go.
A lot of people were speculating that it's echoing. That was Hold on, like the other team was gonna be like or something like that. But what do you? There we go.
But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely interesting, I think. Like, it's not a bad twist, but it's not, like, my favorite twist I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea to do for sure. It really, I mean, the one thing that I do like about it is that it really does change up the dynamics of the house, for sure. Things are very different than how I think they probably would have played out if this was just a normal week with like an HOH and things like that. I think things probably would have gone very differently than they ended up going. I don't think the outcome that we got is the one that would have happened. So I will say they definitely did a good job with that. What I don't love is what they ended up doing besides that. But before we get into that, there are two team captains for this season, and it's not what you would expect. We have Kiefer and we have Tina, and I think you can agree Kiefer was a lot better in these first two episodes than he was in his intro, because I really was not a fan of him at all. From that cast assessment, I thought he was going to be really annoying, but he's actually really cool, I think, in this week at least.
I actually thought he was kind of funny.
Yeah.
At least at the beginning of the first episode. Yeah. He's not my favorite. Like, no. I don't see him going super far, but I do think he definitely is better than I expected. He definitely grew on me a little bit. And honestly, same with Josh. Like, I'm not really a fan of Josh, but I don't dislike him either. It's just, he just kind of has like a boring personality, but like, I don't dislike him. And then Tina, I'm honestly good for her for winning team captain because I actually really like her.
Oh yeah, definitely. I enjoyed Kiefer and Tina quite a bit. I especially enjoyed the segment where Kiefer was speaking a different language. I thought that was really cool. The cultural influence, they really did a good job with here. Like, they actually talked about like where the house was made from, like Newfoundland, and really respecting like the original like soil and things like that. I thought that was really cool the way they did that. That's not something that you would see in US Big Brother. They wouldn't even try to like shed light on that, but they actually did here, and I think that's something they did really well. And yeah, I think Kiefer and Tina overall, I enjoyed them as team captains. I wouldn't have expected for that to be the case. But I think for the most part, it worked out. I think they're definitely good team captains. I think they picked some pretty good teams here. And I guess we'll just get into the teams overall. So for Team Defender, we have Kiefer, Jedson, Latoya, Josh, Julie, Rohan, and Breydon. And then Team Destiny, we have Tina, Tychon, Tera, Kyle, Beth, Victoria, and Austin. And out of these two teams, which one do you like the most so far?
I like Team Destiny. I just wish.
Hey, Josh.
Aww. Hey, Josh. I just wish Julie was on that team.
Yeah.
But and maybe a couple other people too. But like maybe replace like Kyle or something. But I mean, so far I don't really dislike Kyle. He's not like that bad.
He hasn't done anything terrible so far. Obviously, the stuff that was leaked about him is not great.
Like he hasn't been like bad. He just isn't my like favorite or anything. Yeah,
he's just kind of there. Like, I think is the best way to describe him. He's just kind of there right now. Maybe he'll do something, but right now there's not really a lot to love about him. I do think in the first episode, though, the star of this first episode through and through is Victoria. I mean, she the DRs that she had just from this episode alone, the one moment that especially sticks in my mind is when she's like, they think that I am losing grip of this, but really I'm never letting go. Like that alone is like, that gives me every reason to stand her. She seems so likable. She really wants to play the game. She's really good at competitions. I don't know about you, but I really do see Victoria going forward this season. I think she absolutely is going to be, someone to watch out for sure.
I can see Victoria being a force to be reckoned with, and I can see her winning.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Honestly, Victoria was definitely the star of both episodes.
Oh, yeah. I think she is just... I really love pretty much everything about her. Like I said, I think that she has, she talked about in her intro how she has such amazing social skills, and it did not disappoint. She definitely does. I mean, I think she's going to be someone that everyone just kind of feels great with within the house. And I think that is going to work to her advantage for the most part, especially in this team twist, because her team's never going to want to get rid of her. Her team's going to like her. And I think that's going to help her out, especially if she keeps winning challenges like that. I think she's in a really good position moving forward.
I agree. I'm excited to see her do more.
Yeah. So I really like the energy that we got from Victoria here. But the other big thing to talk about is, as they're picking these teams, we then get this very interesting twist that I don't really love, where for this week, for some reason, there's no HOH, there's no veto. It's just straight to an eviction. And I know you told me that that is usually the norm for Big Brother Canada, where they do like an early eviction, but I don't know. What did you think of the idea of just no HOH or veto or anything like that? I mean, it was basically Survivor.
I mean, I like that Victoria won and got to keep her group safe.
Yeah.
But obviously I wish Julie was in that group because this kind of fucked her over.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what I didn't understand is why is Tina the one that is voting in the event of the tie? Why isn't it Kiefer since he's on that team? Like I didn't understand that.
I was confused about that.
Yeah.
But I feel like Julie would have been fine if she didn't tell everyone what she heard.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it just, I don't know. I think it's an interesting idea, the idea that everyone votes, including the two nominees, but it also is a complete clusterfuck because you have so many options in that way. And it didn't really feel like Big Brother. It felt like it felt almost like a day one eviction. It really did. It's like those horrible night one evictions that we get in US Big Brother. It's obviously not a night one eviction, but it very much felt like that because it just felt like nobody was really given time to campaign. Nobody was really given time to yeah, so I did not really like the way that ended up going, but that's really everything that happens in episode 1. Team Destiny is safe, which is great, but then Team Defender is the one that is up for eviction, except for Kiefer. Kiefer is safe, so it's Jedson, Latoya, Josh, Julie, Rohan, and Breydon. And I think this is absolutely the worst case scenario for some of these people, especially if your names are Josh and Julie. I think this was definitely the worst case scenario for both of them because while they were bonding here and it felt like they definitely had mutual interests, I think the problem is that they were both obviously like the big targets here. And I think what they needed to do rather than work together was just push each other's names. And maybe they do end up going for Rohan because Josh wants to push for Rohan. He doesn't want, he doesn't want alpha males to run the season. He feels like Rohan is someone that is very confident. And we saw from his intro, like Rohan's very confident. He wants to be the villain of the season. He wants to make all these big moves. And so it would have made, I think under normal circumstances, this actually could have worked. Like Josh wanting to go for Rohan, I think legitimately could have worked if it was like him and Rohan on the block. But unfortunately, what happens is it doesn't really work out that way. The Rohan plan was kind of dodged. And why do you think this happened? Why don't you think this worked overall?
Maybe they just ended up going the easy route and just getting one of the weaker players, which should have been Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Because Julie at least could have done some damage in the game. And
I feel like there's a lot we didn't see in terms of why Rohan was like not even considered. Like nobody considered it. And it's weird considering that Rohan was one of the last people selected on this team. You would think that maybe
honestly, yeah, like I thought he could have been first boot just because I mean, maybe they felt like keeping the strong guys in, but they could have just went for him because that would have been a good move. I do think he could do some damage in the game too, but like I don't know if I could really see him making it super far.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does. I hope he does because, like I said, what I liked about his intro is that he legitimately wants to play the game. He wants to be this big character.
I like him.
Yeah, and I hope he can be. I really hope he can be. But we'll just have to see what he ends up doing. But like I said, obviously that plan is dodged. And instead, we have this plan from a few people, mainly Latoya. She gets very bad vibes from Julie. She thinks Julie comes off way too overconfident in that way. And feels like she's going to do some major damage in the game. So she wants to really go for Julie. And I am of two minds about this. On one hand, I understand it because Julie was definitely not really doing anything to help herself this week. She was very outspoken. She was very vocal about what she wanted to do. She pretty much told everyone about this Rohan plan when she really should have just left it to her and Josh. But at the same time, I don't love the way that Latoya was actively pushing for Julie to go. I didn't really like that at all. And I feel like, even because she was doing that, especially if she keeps doing that, I don't think she's going to make it very far at all. How do you feel about this whole situation? Because I know it's already very controversial.
I just don't like that Latoya kept on it seems like not just Julie, but she's just trying to go for all the women.
Yeah.
And just work with all the guys, which
I saw a lot of people say
that is literally
like the meninist of the season.
That's literally going to get her picked off.
Yeah.
Next week, and I could see her playing the game. I'm glad she's playing the game and everything. She's just doing it in the wrong way, and Julie probably could have been safe if she didn't tell the Rohan thing.
Yeah, I think so too. I think she definitely, I think definitely she did not handle that very well. But it's also not going to work because you can see that Jed, Rohan, and Tychon are very close. And I feel like Latoya is definitely at the bottom of that alliance, especially if she keeps trying to control votes in the way that she is. Again, that's something that is good to do. I just don't feel like this early in the game that's very advantageous. I feel like if you want to go far, because it's clear she wants to play a Derek-like game. She's a cop. She has kind of experience with this thing. She wants to play that kind of game. But the difference with her and Derek is that Derek very much focused on his social game, and he did a lot of the more major moves later on. And he also let a lot of the chess pieces fall around him, whereas it feels like Latoya is causing all of the damage, and it's just not really going to work out for her overall.
I actually think that the Dolls Alliance could have dominated.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We get this other alliance with Breydon, Julie, and Austin, known as the Dolls. And what were you going to say?
I was going to say that I wish they saved her because they evicted her.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't really understand why they did that either. I think that Julie was given a question and someone asked her, why didn't you pull Josh into that alliance? Because it felt like her and Josh were really vibing. But truthfully, I just don't think their energies really match. Josh was coming in very hot. He was someone that was very obviously going after Rohan in that way. And the thing is, Julie was kind of doing the same thing, though. So again, I feel like if those two would have worked together and just try to push for and vote for Rohan, but not tell too many people about it, she could have told the Dolls and then they could have relayed that information to somebody else. I really think this could have actually worked out. I think they maybe could have pulled this off. But what do you think?
The Dolls theme song could be the song Dollhouse.
Oh yeah, definitely. They could have They really could have done some damage there. And I will say, I do think Breydon and Austin are going to continue to work together. I think they are definitely solid. I think that those two, there's a lot of potential for them to run things moving forward. It's really just unfortunate what ends up happening because we'll just get into it. For Julie to be the first boot is absolutely devastating. I mean, it's not just the fact that Julie was, I think, very much everyone's like top pick coming into the season. Everyone just got such great energy from her. They really thought she was going to make a big impression, but also her story. I mean, Julie is the first transgender house guest to be on Big Brother Canada. She has this big segment before her eviction where it's, a bunch of people talking about their coming out stories and her really diving into the fact that, she always saw herself as a girl and, eventually, came out as transgender. It was a really, really touching story. And for it to just be cut short like that and for her to not get that journey, I mean, I can't imagine what this really means to her. And it's really unfortunate to see overall.
Honestly, all the coming out stories were just really sweet and and they were just very inspirational. And then her being first boot was the only part of the season I hated so far.
Yeah,
her and Victoria were like my winner picks. So now it's Victoria.
And Victoria is the only person that voted to keep her, besides Julie, obviously, which I don't really understand. Like, I don't understand why everyone needed to vote her out. Like, it just needs to be a majority. And Arisa didn't, expose votes or anything. So, I don't understand,
It's honestly good that Victoria kept her because at least she doesn't go with the majority and go with the house because that's boring. And she actually has her own mind.
Yeah, exactly. I think if I'm Breydon or Austin, I would definitely rally to keep Julie because even though she's already perceived as this loose cannon to people and things like that, we're still trying to work in an alliance with her. We still want this alliance to work out. And I think 3 works a lot better than 2. 2 is very dangerous because if you lose 1, that whole alliance is done. But 3 could really work out. And I think they really should have tried to do what they can to push for it. But again, it just kind of speaks to this twist where it just puts everyone at a disadvantage because Breydon is also on that team. And if Breydon pushes for Julie, he could end up potentially becoming, if Breydon pushes for Rohan or Josh, he could end up becoming the target if he's constantly stumping for Julie in that way. So again, it's really unfortunate. And I just don't think this twist really worked out overall.
Yeah. Other than her eviction, I still love the season. And I think it still has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And just because the season, or Big Brother Canada in general is just way better than the US because they actually, they're not cheap and they actually put a lot of thought into their production and everything.
Yeah, I will definitely agree with that. I think production-wise, it's on another level. They clearly care about what they're doing. Even the intro alone, where they're talking about how, things were shut down last season, it was, there's a level of heart that we just don't have in Big Brother US. Big Brother US feels a lot more cynical, and I feel like this one, there's just a lot more passion and heart put into it, and you definitely do get to see that here. But moving forward, I mean, obviously, it really sucks that Julie is gone, but we still do have quite a few favorites that I hope end up doing well. I will say, though, I would hate to be named Josh right now because I don't think Josh is in a good position really at all. Yeah. While he was vocal, what were you going to say?
What I've been hearing that it's either Kiefer or Josh in a bad position this next round.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, I don't normally talk about feeds and things like that, but obviously we'll get into that next week. But yeah, in terms of Josh, I mean, I would really hate to be him right now because it's just he is in a very dangerous position, especially with the way he tried to maneuver around this week. I think, again, it would have just made more sense for him to tell Julie he wanted Rohan out, for Julie to go to the dolls, and then they legitimately could have made something happen. But unfortunately, it backfired for both of them. Julie went, and I feel like Josh is probably not too far behind her, which is unfortunate. But I mean, I guess we'll just really have to see where things end up going. But I don't really feel good about Josh heading into the next week.
Josh saying like Kyle's a cis white male that won't win is pretty funny.
Yeah, definitely.
He's like, I don't want a basic white man to win.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's good that he said that, because I think Julie definitely agrees. But I think, again, he needed to push that narrative more. And again, I just think, once again, it really just kind of stems back to that twist. I don't think this twist really worked out, because a lot of the interesting strategy that could have gone on just really didn't. Like, Victoria should have been HOH, I think. I think Victoria absolutely should have won HOH because she won the challenge. And I feel like what they should have done from there is, yes, her team is safe, but then anyone else on the other team she can nominate. I think that's how they should have gone about it. And I think moving forward, that is probably what they're going to do, because the teams are sticking for at least a few more weeks. And hopefully that is a lot more fluid, because I just don't think this was very fluid gameplay overall.
Yeah, I feel like she probably would have nominated Josh and Rohan if she would HOH.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think definitely at that point they could have actually gotten Rohan out, but alas, that is not what ended up happening. Julie is the first boot. I think probably one of the most devastating first boots we've ever had. But again, like I said, it's not entirely not her fault either, because it is kind of her fault with some of the things she did. I think she was a little vocal. She needed to lie low a bit. She needed to only tell a few people about what she wanted to do. But the way that she was almost trying to control the votes, you know, you can understand why people would see her as this big threat. She's coming, even when she is asked about who is the weakest person on Team Destiny, she says Josh. And it's like, Josh is obviously going to vote you out now by you saying that. So, like, I don't know. I feel like Julie is someone, she had massive potential, but she just didn't get to really showcase it here. And I think, again, it's a combination of the twist working against her, but also her just telling too many people what she really wanted to do.
Yeah, if she kept quiet, she probably would have been like in a way better position and actually dominated.
Yeah, definitely. It really just did not work out for her overall. But I think that's kind of it for what happened in these two episodes. There's not really a ton of other stuff to talk about, and I really do wish that the premiere was longer. I think we could have gotten more time to see everyone strategize. I think we would have had more time to see what really motivated them to get rid of Julie. I mean, it seemed like it was clearly Latoya. It does seem like Latoya was very much behind this. It seems like definitely.
I don't dislike Latoya. I just think
no, I don't either.
Her game is just very confusing right now, and I don't know why she's just targeting the women for like no reason.
And I also just feel like the way that she's playing, it's not to her benefit. You know, it's one of those things where she's she's too controlling towards votes right now. And you can do that, but you have to do that in such a way where you don't make yourself look like a threat. And she already is really showing off her threat level. And again, I don't know if she's going to do that in the next few weeks, but considering the way that she did it this week, I have to assume this is like what her game is probably going to be. What she wants to do moving forward is, you know, just really play hard. And it's good to play hard, but just this early in the game, I just don't think it's really going to work out for her. So I don't think she's going this week, but I think in the next few weeks, she very much could find herself leaving.
I mean, if everyone tells her that her targets are like Austin and everyone next, that means, or maybe Austin will fight, or maybe they'll come back and Austin will put her up.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll have to see what ends up happening. But I think that's basically it in terms of everything that we really need to talk about for this week. Solid first week overall. Would have liked to see a bit more strategy. Would have liked to see, we didn't really get to see that moment where all of the house guests really bond, you know, when they're first meeting each other. We didn't really get to see that. And I feel like we were kind of robbed of that. I got to be honest. I feel like we were kind of robbed of getting to see everyone on night one just bonding. That's something I always love getting to see. And we really didn't get to see that here.
Yeah, they didn't have any like intros like, I'm a person from from this place, and even though I like that everyone was still bonding, but like they just didn't have any intros. And I do think the dolls, like the 2 remaining dolls, will still possibly dominate because I can see them, because so far they're in a good position.
Yeah, I think so too. I think definitely if Breydon and Austin stick together and they don't make it obvious, I feel like they could end up going far, and they could use it as, that's something where they could use it at the end. Like Julie was someone that was making it too obvious, and that's why we had to go for her. I think that would make sense. Like if they say that would definitely make sense, because Julie was just not very subtle with the way that she played the game. But if those 2 stick together, I think they could definitely be in a good position moving forward. But I also feel like what's very dangerous again is that 3 of Tychon, Rohan, and Jed. I feel like they are definitely they're the type of big brother players we see a lot. They're very much gonna run the season if you don't take them out soon. So
they are broken up. We can already tell they're doing a guys alliance, but they need to be split up.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to see a guys alliance run the season. That's what we get in US, and that's very boring. So yeah, I think that's basically it for this week. Is there anything else you really want to say in terms of this week overall?
I mean, justice for Julie.
Definitely, yes, justice for Julie.
Other than that, I do think the season's still good so far, and I do think it's gonna be a good season. I hope. I mean, because Big Brother Canada have so many good seasons, so I hope it lives up to that.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope for my sake, especially since this is my first season, I hope it's, a decent one. I hope this is a good start to the show, because I do really like this cast so far. I feel like everyone, for the most part, is pretty likable. Everyone has a story that I can latch onto. Everyone is someone that I can see doing well in the game. I don't actively dislike anyone yet. But at the same time, I've said this for a bunch of US seasons as well. So let's just see how it ends up going moving forward. Again, I love that there's more production. I love Arisa as a host, and there definitely is a lot of things that are better than US.
I also think Julie's iconic quote when she left was pretty iconic.
Oh yeah, that was great. I definitely love that a lot. But before we do end things off here, I'm going to give you a chance to do your outro.
Well, I had so much fun. This episode's been shorter, but sorry, my first intro was really bad. I can be really bad at intros sometimes, but
no, you're fine. You're fine.
I had a lot of fun. And don't worry, I'm getting better at intros too.
Yes.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun, and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Ali Jacqueline, Instagram, I'm Ali Kossan, or message me for Snapchat.
Yes.
And just can't wait for the next episode and for more of the season. It's so much fun so far. I love doing this, and I just can't wait till the next one.
Yes, definitely a lot of fun for sure. Apologize, this one was more on the shorter side. Like I said, I think it was a pretty straightforward week overall. There just really wasn't a lot to talk about. They needed to do more with strategy. I think next week we'll definitely have a lot more to discuss for sure. And we will have a guest on next week, which we will be promoting at some point. So definitely look forward to that. Hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. Again, we did our cast assessment, and we finally were able to start off today. So I hope you guys really like what is in store for the rest of this season and what's going to become of the series overall. But that's really for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in our next video, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.